Alright everybody, welcome back to another Arena Football Nation YouTube video. I hope you're all doing well. And in today's video is going to be part 2 of our 3-part series where we're having a mid-season, look and review of the 3 leagues we cover here on the channel, the IAF, the NAL, and the IFL. And we're just doing a little midweek or mid-season look at how the league is going. News and updates, things that have happened, and yeah, we'll just do this for all leagues, like I said, and then we'll do a whole season in review at the end. So if you ever seen or remember, we had the preview for the upcoming season. We took a look at all the teams, the map, and everything, and we just previewed what was going to be coming for the 2024 season. So this is going to be our mid-season look at how everything has happened and went, and then we're going to look at it all at the end and take a look back at the end of the season. So this video is going to be for the National Arena League, and we're going to see where things stand as of now. We're pretty much at the on the home stretch, halfway mark, a little bit over, and things are starting to really gear up. You're having playoff pushes, and we are really going to see how things are going to look here at the end of the year. So before we get into it, if you like this kind of content and this is your first time checking out the channel, I appreciate you taking a click on the video. And we cover all arena and indoor football, the AFL, IFL, NAL. We're going to start covering the AFL, excuse me. We did initially do a preview video for the season, but with recent events happening, we're going to start covering the league now fully. But other than that, all the other 3 main leagues that are the bigger leagues in the world of arena and indoor football, we do cover on the channel. So if that interests you and you want to follow along for more, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe. We're on our way to 600 subscribers. We're at 589, I believe, last I looked. So we're almost there, and follow along for more. All right, we'll go ahead and get right into it. So to start off the video, we're going to look at the standings. So you at the top, you have Omaha Beef. They are undefeated on I believe it's like a 17-game win streak, give or take. They've been very dominant. The class of the league, doing really great things over there in Omaha. And can't really say too much more than they've been excellent. They are at 5-0 in league standings. They just been doing everything they can to win. They get their backs against the wall. They're in a hole. They dig out of it, and they fight. They've in close games, and they come out winners. And then they've had games obviously where they just blow teams out. So really solid franchise. I'm really impressed with the Beef. They're quickly becoming one of my favorite teams in arena indoor football. I love the arena. I love the smaller setting. I think they max out at 5,000 give or take fans to sell out. That's their number. So smaller venue overall compared to a lot of teams, but I think that's actually an advantage because their fans are right there up on it, on the field against those walls. It's really beautiful. Arena in general, really crisp and clean. I love the lighting. You can really see everything, and of course they got that amazing field, that orange field. And if you've seen videos before where I talk about it, I love colored fields. Adds some character and really brings it, some fun to the game when it comes to these arena and indoor leagues. So yeah, 5-0. They just had their big rivalry game. I believe it was the I-29 rivalry with the Sioux City Bandits, where they came out victorious. So that was a really big game, a really highly anticipated game in the NAL. I believe it is the longest standing rivalry in indoor and arena football. So very awesome, exciting. So yeah, not much more to say. They keep it going. Like I said, we're almost at that point in the season where we're really going to see who's going to be in the playoffs. And of course, obviously, barring some massive, crazy, cataclysmic issue, I believe Omaha's in, if not going to be the #1 seed. So yeah, we'll just keep on going along here. And in second place, you have the Carolina Cobras with a 4-2 record. Carolina Cobras, I knew they were going to be in it as well. Get the old guard of the NAL. They're a solid franchise as well. I say it every time I watch their streams. I just think their arena is too big, and you don't see very many fans in the stands. And I know they draw decently, but it just looks rough. I wish they had more fans come out and support them. Cause at the end of the day, they are a well-run franchise, you know, a class act when it comes to the arena and indoor football scene. Once again, I really expected them to be there in the playoffs, making a push, and they seem to be doing really well for themselves with a 4-2 record in second place. Next up in third place, you have the Sioux City Bandits. They're at 3-2, 2 tough losses. Got them in third place, but they're running really well as a franchise. Also, their the streams for their games are really well done. Could be better, but it's not bad, you know, compared to most these lower tier teams that, you know, either things buffering or has terrible camera angles or you can't even see the action half time. But overall, they're doing solid for themselves. Got a good fan base, you know, attending games. You know, the big rivalry with Omaha, you know, they're going to be having round 2 coming up this weekend. So it's going to be, you know, a really good game. I'm sure they're going to fight back and not have that 30-33 score again. But yeah, Sioux City, another like long-standing franchise that's been run really well. So, you know, they're in third place. You know, there's nothing negative I can really say. And in fourth place, you got the Colorado Spartans. They're one of my success stories. I feel like in every league there's a success story, and it's usually an expansion team that has just been doing really well for themselves. In the AIF, you had the Corpus Christi Tritons. In the NAL, for me, it's the Colorado Spartans. I had a lot of questions. I didn't know how, you know, good this franchise was going to be. I know they had Fred Shaw as a head coach, and he's a really good coach. I knew he was going to, you know, make sure he could do the best he could to get the team right. But yeah, the fan base attending games has been decent. It could be better. It could be worse. I mean, I'm happy that they've gotten as much as they have, and I think as they continue to go forward and have fan outreach and win games, I think even more fans will be packing that arena. So pretty good for that on that aspect. And they're 2-3. They had a couple tough losses, but they're right there in those games. They're competitive, and they those 2 wins are, one was a big upset win. So I think Colorado's done really well. I still think they're really hitting their stride. They're going to have, a couple more upsets, I believe, before they end the season. And just really happy for them. Really good story for the Colorado Spartans. Then in the 5th place, you got the Idaho Horsemen. So that was that's pretty much what the battle is going to be for the playoffs. I think, Beef, Cobras, Bandits are locks. It's going to be that 4th spot. Who's going to get in? It's going to be the Spartans or the Horsemen. And in that last meeting, the Spartans beat the Horsemen. So they're looking to be out on top. The season's not over yet, but they have that one victory there. Horsemen are sitting at 1-4. Unfortunately, I think they're not as bad as they are. Their record shows. I think they do have some good qualities about their roster and their team. I've seen some great plays and some great games by them. They do show fight, so I'm not writing them off yet. Overall, they're out in the middle of Idaho, and I think the fan base does a decent job of supporting. Once again, I think they could do better, but that's just me wanting everything to be such a great quality. I want all the fans to support as much as possible. I want everything to succeed when it comes to arena indoor football because I love the sport. But overall, I think they're a decent franchise. They're not out of it yet. Obviously, Colorado's 2-3, Idaho's 1-4. They still have a shot to get in that 4th spot. Or if anything crazy happens, who knows? They might even make a push further. I mean, Sioux City's only at 3-2. But yeah, that's in the 6th place. You got the Oklahoma Flying Aces. They were at 0-4. They end up, going dormant. We'll get into that in a second. But I think they're making great strides. Their last game, they played the Beef, and they give the Beef a run for their money. It was a great game. I would check it out if you hadn't seen it yet. But Oklahoma was finding their selves. They're really picking it up. most people, I'm sure, thought they were just going to fall apart after the rough start they had. But no, they got it together, and they were really trying to upset the Beef. And a lot of Beef fans are on the edge of their seats. Don't let them tell you otherwise. There were a couple instances where they got real quiet in the arena when I was watching the stream. So really good props to Oklahoma not falling apart. They did a great job, but unfortunately, they like I said, they went dormant. It was announced, and we'll get into that. Alrighty, let's look at the schedule really quick. So these are the remaining games for the NAL in the 2024 season. You got, like I said, Idaho and Colorado playing May 17th. That's this coming weekend. You know, it could go either way. If Idaho wins and they make a little push, they could jump Colorado. So this is going to be a pivotal game for 4th place to get in those standings. Then on May 18th, also this upcoming weekend, you have the Cobras taking on the Carolina Predators. Cobras should blow them out. It's a lower tier league team in the Predators, so nothing really to write home there. And then you have the rematch, the Beef and the Bandits. So this is going to be, like I said, they just played recently, and the Beef won, as you can see, 33-6 against the Bandits. Well, now we're going to Sioux City. Can the Beef stay dominant, or will Sioux City bounce back and the Bandits even out the records and the rivalry there for this year? Then you on May 25th, you have the Cobras taking on the Spartans. This is another chance for both teams to really push their weight around, be dominant in the standings, get hot before the playoffs. Colorado can make a push, climb the standings, put some distance between them and Idaho. And then also on May 25th, you have the Bandits and Horsemen. Same situation. We're really at the final point where every game is going to matter for these standings. So, like I said, these should be great games going forward. Next up, you have the Bandits and the Cobras. That's on June 1st. Now, every game is a pivotal game at this point. Then also on June 1st, you have the Spartans and the Beef. This one, I'm circling this one for sure. I would not be surprised if the Spartans upset the Beef on June 1st. It could go either way. The Beef could just absolutely dominate. I'm not absolutely calling anything, but I feel like the Spartans are going to get hot. They might beat the Cobras. Obviously, they could beat the Horsemen. But if they win one of those games or both those games, I could see them really pulling spoiler, possibly giving the Beef their first loss of the season. Not a guarantee, but it wouldn't surprise me if they get hot. Then on June 8th, Saturday, June 8th, this is the last games of the regular season. You got the Cobras taking on the Beef. Big game. I think it'll be very competitive. 2 top tier teams in the league. And then you have the Horsemen and the Spartans playing. And that could be pivotal for standings on who gets in that 4th spot if it's close. So this is going to be really exciting down to the wire here at the end of the season. A lot of things could happen. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Most of these games are going to be competitive for the most part. Every team has been getting it together, not only offensively, defensively, player personnel, everything has been coming together for these teams. So I really expect this to be, the coaches putting the pressure on, the fans getting the pressure on. Every game matters. I could see these games being some great shootouts, probably even high scoring, and getting it ready for the playoffs. A lot on the line. All right, so that's the rest of the schedule for the season. Let's take a look at the news. And here we can see on May 7th, the NAL said the Flying Aces to go dormant for the remainder of 2024 to restructure. So even going into the season, I don't even think the Flying Aces had a home game because they're having issues with an arena, somewhere to play. I know possibly even owner issues. I know the coach who was initially there, he ended up leaving. Disagreements with how things were being run. It was really shaky, and it was really looking bad. It looked like the Flying Aces might be one of the first teams to bow out of the 24 season and fold. But they, like I said, 4 or 5 games? I know they did 4 regular season games. I don't know if they played a non-league game. But either way, they were really getting to their stride and turning things around, almost upsetting the Beef. So it's very unfortunate to see this happen, but if it's for the best interest of the team and the league, and they do have a possibility to return 25, maybe this might be the best decision for them. You know, in the history, if you follow these leagues in arena indoor football, going dormant usually is a death knell that the team is about to fold. And they're just, you know, putting people, the team, or they're putting the fans, the city, whatever, down easy, saying, oh, we're going dormant. And then, you know, you don't hear from them for months and months. And the next thing you know, it's like, oh, yeah, we folded. But I do believe, possibly, you know, maybe they can move to a different city, a different arena. I know that they have potential. They showed promise there at the end of the season. So, unfortunately, Flying Aces is going dormant. That puts the NAL at 5 teams for the 24 season to finish out. And let's just read this article real quick. The NAL has been working with the new owner of the Oklahoma Flying Aces, Joey Jones. So there you go. A new owner did take over to ascertain the best options to assure that the Oklahoma franchise is poised for long-term success. Earlier this season, the Oklahoma franchise underwent massive internal changes, both within the ownership and overall operations of the team. Given the severity of the timeline, the league was proactive this season in providing the team support, patience, and relief to assist the team during its uniquely difficult time. Given the overall circumstances, it has been made clear that the team's new first-year ownership has put in a massive effort, but cannot successfully fulfill all league obligations to finish a season without a complete reorganization of the current processes and procedures currently in place. The National League and the ownership of the Aces has mutually agreed to allow operations to go dormant for the remainder of the 24 season, focusing to strengthen the business side as well as community engagement and support. Under better circumstances, the league and team ownership believe there is a successful future projected for the Oklahoma franchise, its staff, and players. Given the league's tenure, the National League specifically has experienced successful relaunching teams from dormancy in arena football through multiple different markets, including several historical recognized franchises in the sport. The National League's board of directors firmly believes today's decision will plant positive results in the future seasons to come and will allow its first-year ownership group to learn, grow, and solidify a successful franchise in Oklahoma. So, and then they're going to adjust accordingly the schedule for this happening. Also, the other really big story that has been happening behind the scenes for the NAL is the National Arena League and the West Texas Desert Hawks have been having a little bit of a legal dispute. Essentially, the West Texas Desert Hawks, before they left the NAL, they were called the West Texas Warbirds. They were, I believe it was their first year in the league, if not first, the second, I believe it was first. But either way, I believe they signed, essentially, I'll give you the cliff notes. They signed a 3-year intent to play in the league. They broke that. They went to the Arena Football League 3.0. And the NAL obviously was like, yo, you know, honor your agreements. Your signature should matter type of deal. Like, if you're going to sign an agreement, don't just break it when we have legal ramifications that are possible. I know they even changed their name, which is really weird. I like the Warbirds logo and the name. I thought it fit. It was all right. I didn't hate it. But then when they changed the Desert Hawks, I was just like, oh, it's atrocious. You're just copying the what was it? The Wichita Falls Nighthawks. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. It's a blatant copy and paste, and you just threw new paint on it. So I don't know. Did they do that just to get out of the agreement? Say, oh, we're a new franchise, we're a new team, we're a new name. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I have no idea what I'm talking about, guys. I'm just some guy making videos about arena football because I love it. So that's how I'm talking out of my ass. So people who watch these videos, I appreciate you. But either way, that was a big issue behind the scenes. And it was getting to the point where NAL was pushing it and having an injunction on the West Texas Desert Hawks so that they couldn't play in the AFL. Well, the Desert Hawks did play their first game, and then the judge did, pass the injunction. So their second game they're supposed to play is it second or third? I can't remember now. I'm blanking out. I've got so much on my mind. I apologize. But anyways, they were looking like they were going to be able to play. Well, the NAL and the West Texas Desert Hawks in finality did finally reach a settlement so that The NAL is getting, what they wanted out of the situation. They're happy. And the West Texas Desert Hawks are going to be able to continue to play. They don't have that injunction on them anymore. That's the quick cliff notes of the situation. So I'll read this real quick from the official newsroom of the NAL. The National Arena League announced the league's officials and the West Texas Desert Hawks have reached a settlement agreement after litigation between parties. Although the specifics of the settlement are completely confidential, league officials have reported that this settlement will allow the West Texas franchise to continue to play in the Arena Football League. We are happy that we were able to work together and settle this matter after negotiations going back to August 2023. So that's really interesting. It's been going on for a while. This isn't something that just popped up. This isn't something that just, NAL being petty, don't want to, let the West Texas Desert Hawks play because they're mad they left their league. No, it's not that. It's literally a long, strenuous process, legal issues that are happening that, unfortunately, the way, from what I understand and from what I read and I've seen, it looks like the way the process, the legal courts work, unfortunately, the timing was right when the AFL was about to play and, the West Texas was, going to be participating is when the issues, publicly started to come up and, the injunction came out. So you had a lot of fans who were upset with the NAL, just saying, "Oh, they're just butthurt, and they're just trying to stop them from playing because they left your league." Well, unfortunately, it's just the way it works. The legality of it and the processes. That's just how it ended up working. So very interesting that it's been going on for that long. August of 2023. Zach Bugg has a great organization, and the NAL wishes him and the Desert Hawks much success on their endeavors, said Executive Director Rob Storm. The National Arena League continues to play this weekend as Week 9 kicks off Saturday with 4 more weeks of play before the National Arena League enters the postseason. And then there's their email you can check out. So that was the other really big story going on. But, it was kind of getting a little ugly there for a second with the fan bases, but we're very glad to see that that's all been settled and worked out. And both parties are now able to move on. So the last one, May 14th, you have National Arena League modifies regular season schedule. This is because of the Oklahoma Flying Aces bowing out of play, going dormant. So they announced they're modifying the regular season schedule following the recent changes regarding the Aces. The league's board of directors has swiftly handled the situation and modified the schedule to reflect the recent changes in the 2024 regular season. With 8 weeks of play completed, only 2 game weeks were modified on the remaining schedule, and here are the changes that were modified. So the following Flying Ace games have been canceled. You had week 11, 12, and 13. It was all home games. Like I said, I don't think they played a single home game this season because they had issues with an arena, I believe. So teams scheduled to play in those games will have a bye week. So that means Sioux City Bandits week 13, Idaho Horsemen week 12, and Beef week 11. And then this game has been modified. You have week 10, Horsemen going to the Spartans. And then the NAL Board of Directors also approved modifying the playoff format to a 2-team playoff. So this is really big news. Going to 2 teams. The top 2 regular season games will meet at the end of the season at the location of the top seed to determine the NAL. So that's kind of confusing. I think I meant to say the top 2 regular season teams. And then that's the weekend of June 15th. The National League reports no active teams will lose any home games from this schedule modification changes. Furthermore, all active teams will have the opportunity to compete for a chance at postseason play, scheduled to kick off in mid-June. So it looks like they might be doing the same thing the AIF is doing. The top 2 teams in the standings might just be playing for the NAL Championship with the highest seed hosting in June 15th. Very interesting. I heard a little bit about that, but this is my first time reading this part of the article, this news article, and seeing that. So I didn't know that they officially have approved it, and they're going to that. So that's very interesting. So that makes it, that changes a lot. Personally, I think it's kind of weird because you're losing 2 games where teams could host and make some profit potentially, or just in general, you add another game. But either way, this is what they're going with. So greater minds, know better, and we can just go from there. So interesting. my whole spill about playoff format, you know, the standings takes even a greater precedence now. But yeah, so that is everything for the National Arena League for the 2024 season midway. Ace is going dormant. You have a change to the playoff format. Now it's top 2 seeds are going to be playing for the championship, and the top seed will host. And I think it's been a great season overall. It could have been a lot worse. It just blows my mind how far apart teams are. So travel has been insane, I'm sure. I know that might have affected some teams and some players. But now we're at the home stretch. I don't think that's going to be an issue anymore. It's, do or die. You got to, especially now, you only talk to teams. It looks like are going to make it. So yeah, another great year. We'll see by the end of the season. We'll see who comes out on top, and of course, we'll have updates after that as well when it comes to the 25 season. All right, everybody. I appreciate you checking out the video and following along and listening to me ramble. This has been a blast. I love talking about arena indoor football and all the things that happen. It's never a dull moment. There's so much drama all the time. That's why I was like, oh, making this channel and talking about it is a no-brainer. There's always gonna be content to talk about, and it's just always just insanity happening. So I appreciate you checking the video, and like I said, if you appreciate this kind of content, I would appreciate it if you'd like the video, show your support, and subscribe if you haven't already to follow along with more. We cover all this arena and indoor football. I'm going to start covering the AFL as well after the most recent changes and the league's leadership. And yeah, it should be a great time. All right, everybody, thank you for checking the video again, and I'll see you in the next one.